Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Some people are so dumb that I genuinely wonder how they survive from one day to the next. And then I remember that jellyfish have survived for 650 million years with no brain. So I guess if they can do it,
as you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. I hope you guys are doing amazing today. So, as many of you guys know, I have a meeting, my BOCC meeting today that I will be attending from about 8:30 on. So that's why we're live early. That's why I'm already ready. I got to leave you guys and walk out the door. But until then, you guys have me, and we're discussing Dylan, right? So Dylan is the main course for today on our topic. But wanted to, before we get started, say good morning. Oh, before we get started, did you guys hear? Did you guys hear? Bullhorn Betty has been exposed. Yes. Yes, I have been exposed. Can you believe that? That Bullhorn Betty has been exposed from some master investigators out there. Oh my, right? Oh my. Exposed yet again, right? I mean, I've been exposed for the last year. You guys have watched every little thing I've done, so much so that everybody bitches about I record everything. I wonder why, right? But don't you know, I've been exposed. I have officially been exposed by people that don't even know what an affidavit is or a complaint. They have no clue. They don't even know what due process is or what removing people from a complaint is, right? Because they're not after the truth. They're just after whatever looks humiliating to Bullhorn Betty. And so that is where the law has a problem, because you can't knowingly say facts that you know are false. And so here we are again, and I'm being exposed again. Who knew, right? Who knew? And I keep wondering, how long ago was this again? Oh, 20 years ago. But I've been exposed. And exposed for something I didn't even do and was completely thrown out. Can you believe that? Yet again, some knuckleheads think they have groundbreaking information. They have obviously reviewed the case, so they know that I was removed. They know that the allegations against me were false, but it didn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. So, guys, just to let you know, I've been exposed yet again. Oh my God, I'm going down. I'm going to lose my channel, and I am getting arrested. Don't you know? Holy crap. Take a number. This is getting old. These people. I got to tell you, they love me. I put money in their pocket day in and day out, no matter how it works. I literally I'm just raining money on these people, but they act like they hate me so much. If they hated me so much, they would say their piece and move on, but they don't, because I make their paycheck. You look at the numbers when they go to any other person, right? Their numbers tank. So they have to keep the heat on Bullhorn Betty to keep their numbers alive. So they don't even care whether what they're saying is true or accurate or factual. Facts for these cockroach channels, these hate channels, these jellyfish, the people that have literally no brain and no common sense, actually think they're doing something. It is laughable. You guys have spent literally a year and a half attacking me. What else is there left to attack? Like, I am surprised you're getting the numbers you're getting off my name. Like, seriously, I think people are pity watching you at this point. It's like you're watching the boat just sink. Like, it's got so many damn holes in it. It's literally sinking to the bottom of the ocean, and they're doing everything they can to keep their head above water. You're welcome for this month's paycheck. You're welcome. Thank you, Betty. You're welcome. You're welcome. But don't you know, I've been exposed again. And if anybody believes the horse shit coming out of the mouth, you guys don't even belong on this channel. Just go away. Seriously. You guys need to really get a life. And you guys need to get your facts ready, your facts correct. First of all, the reason why people don't watch your channels is because you have no facts. You're venomous. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You guys have clubbed me over the head. You told me I've been arrested 42 times. You're telling me I'm a con man out of Iowa, but yet I'm sitting here with a concealed weapons permit, able to vote, and literally have only had 2 charges against myself, 2 misdemeanors. One 20 years ago and one 10 years ago. Those are the only things. But yet these people, and it's so funny because you hear them literally calling my college. This is how insane these people are. They're calling my college to make sure I graduated. I've got the certificate, babe. Yes, that is really a paralegal degree on my wall. Glad you confirmed that. Glad you confirmed that. Now what do you have to say? Oh, she just must pick up the telephone. Who the hell goes to a school to pick up a ringing telephone? Like, seriously, guys, knock it off. Knock it off. I understand your people don't like you. I understand you can't get attention any other way unless you put Bullhorn Betty in your title line. But come on, at least be factual. At least have the frickin' information correct, because you look like a Yahoo. And what idiots following them that don't say, hey, well, how did the case go? This was from, 17 years ago. What happened to the case? Oh, well, she was removed. Well, imagine that. Imagine that. I was removed because I threatened them with an attorney for what? Oh, slander of all things, right? They removed me from that court case really quick. I think like in a week time, my attorney had them already wrapped up in a freaking pretzel. So much so they had no choice. It was either that or they were about to get hit with a major lawsuit for me. So, hello. Guess you don't care about the facts, right? So good morning. Donna, it's nice to see you. Z-A-L-D, Maria, Melissa, Lynn. That's what I think about you. Cockroaches right there. This, what I have in this tissue, yeah, that's kind of what I think about you in the garbage. As many of you guys, if you guys are watching this garbage, please unsubscribe. It's not worth putting a penny in their pocket. I am not worth putting a penny in their pocket, right? Quit putting a penny in their pocket for Bullhorn Betty. They don't deserve it. Tell them to start telling the truth. Tell the truth. That's all I want. Tell the truth. They won't do it. They won't do it. So thought, and it didn't even really get under my skin. I actually laughed because somebody wrote me an email and it's like, oh, they're exposing you. You're going down, you piece. I just started laughing. One little email. Oh, wow. Right? Going down. I've been exposed, folks. Been exposed. Oh, this stuff just never ends, but it cracks me up. It does crack me up. I get so sick of hearing the voice. That's the problem. And I promise you, you're laughing now, little girl, but you ain't going to be laughing soon. Trust me, Bullhorn Betty will have the final laugh. I promise you that. I put my name and my channel behind that. I will promise you. This girl right here will have the final laugh. That I can guarantee you, little girl. That I can tell you. That I can guarantee. That is a fact. Now I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And I'm surprised she's doing this with a pending legal matter against her. But hey, whatever. Ian, 3 in Vegas, but got to wake up to Bullhorn Betty and my new theme song. Gonna be a good day. Everybody likes that song. I have thought about it, time and time again to remove it, but it's literally now on shirts, right? You're gonna have a good day with Bullhorn Betty. Like, if you want that shirt, reach out to Sonia. She's got them. She's ready to send them out. Order your shirt today. We are going to be getting rid of 4 shirts on this show in the next few weeks. I haven't set it up yet. I know. I'm horrible. I'm a horrible procrastinator when it comes to anything not true crime. Like when it comes to building the channel, and changing things from StreamYard to other programs that are going to work better. I have a problem finding the time to designate to those causes because I'm so invested in my county, and I'm so invested in this true crime that it's hard to do all the other stuff. Where before I used to have the time to do it because we weren't covering as many cases. I wasn't as busy. I wasn't traveling as much. And so I had time to do those things. Right now, I'm pulling my hair out, trying to find time to do all the stuff on my needs list, right? The stuff over and above the true crime stuff. I had to review my county documents last night, and I couldn't even finish those. I was so stinking tired. I went to bed at literally 7:30 last night, fell asleep, fell asleep, and got up this morning at guess what? 3:45. Yes, that's the time that Bullhorn Betty woke up this morning, 3:45. And I promise you, with it being Tuesday, the time I get to go to bed tonight is going to be well after 10 or 11 o'clock. So I'm going to be working my little rear end off today. Nice to see you, Sweetie Pie, Jewel, MJ, Irene, Emma. Nice to see you, Tracy, Fire and Ice, Daisy Chain. I love coffee. I do too. If you guys have not grabbed your cup of coffee, I know my logo is missing. I get it. This is not a logo cup. This is just a plain white cup. My logo cup is in the dishwasher getting washed. I usually wash it by hand, but I had a full load of dishes to do to start this morning. So guess what? It went into the dishwasher. I probably should have just washed it, but I'm with the cup. And I may design this cup myself. I may decide to put something on this cup and might say, F you, welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Club. I'm not sure how I'm going to go with it yet. I'm not sure. Moonlight Magic, ZA, nice to see you. Anna, who else do we have? We have Trudy T, nice to see you. Misty. Oh, and Maria, thank you for being number 46. For those that are here, it's only 17 minutes in. 5 minutes of that is our intro. I started it early, right? So we could start on time for the people that wanted to tune in right at 6:15 and didn't want to deal with the intro. We got the intro out of the way a little early. But we already have almost 400 people in chat right now, and you guys are up ridiculously early. It's not even 6:30 yet. You guys are insane. There's 404 people sitting in this chat, 405, including me, sitting in this chat that are completely out of their mind. We are up entirely too early on this Tuesday. And like me, I'm wide awake and already drinking cup number 2. So good morning, all. Nice to see you. But don't forget to hit the like button. Mary, it's nice to see you. Blessings to you as well. Chilly Chick. It was chilly when I walked out this morning to dump the garbage. The one bad thing about being single in the garbage, you never quite fill it up, right? So I started using, I put my bag in there, but the trash, I'll make some food. Like I just made that roast. And the comments on first of all, it was prime ribeye roast. That means it was bone-in ribeye roast. It was a big chunk of meat. Okay. I got to eat, folks. Okay. I eat garbage food. Typically, I go out and eat a $1 burger from McDonald's. Every now and again, I want to have a real home-cooked meal because there is no Southern cook like me, period. And that, my friend, was how you do a roast. You season it. Who wants meat that is bland, right? So all those people that made those nasty comments, I would hate eating at your house. If you don't know what rosemary is and you don't know what seasonings are, I would not want to be invited to one of your dinners, but you probably don't know how to cook either. So I pity you that you can't have a nice dinner like Bullhorn Betty. Maybe if you're nicer to me, I might invite you over for one of those home-cooked meals that are very good and prepared from scratch. Except this one, I really didn't prepare outside of the meat from scratch. Usually I make mashed potatoes. I always make those from scratch. But I did a mac and cheese and a lima bean. Obviously, I didn't pick the lima beans, right? So they came in a can. But I upgraded the mac and cheese. I didn't go with the Kraft, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't go with the Kraft mac and cheese, okay? I went with the Cracker Barrel mac and cheese. It was really good. for those that have to know every single thing about me, like the hate channels, I had and I enjoyed it. That's the thing, is I enjoyed cutting into that meat. I enjoyed picking up every delicious bite of that meat. And I love the fact that my meat was what? Seasoned, and seasoned well. Can you believe how petty people are? Like, I'm telling you, if we sat here, if we really wanted to become a drama channel, which I don't, I have no aspirations to be a drama channel. I don't, outside of my one and dones, I'm over it. But it's just, it's comical to me that people are so stupid, like literally stupid. But then I come back to this chick.
Some people are so dumb that I genuinely wonder how they survive from one day to the next. And then I remember that jellyfish have survived for 650 million years with no brain. So I guess if they can do it.
I'm right there. I'm right there. I swear before God, I'm right there. If they can do it, right? You're welcome for your paycheck this month. What would these people do without Bullhorn Betty? Right? I'm the worst person in the world. Why? Because I advocate. It sounds to me like they don't like me for other reasons than true crime. Wouldn't that be the opinion of the audience here, that there must be some underlying issue? I mean, I am very vocal in my county. Maybe they don't agree with some of the policies I'm helping my county. They don't live in my county. So why the hell do they care? Why do they care what I'm doing here? If they got such a problem with it, you know what I'd say to them? Get off your butt and do something about it, like I do. If I don't like something, I don't complain about it. I get into action and I do something about it. It's so easy to complain. Think about it. All day long. Well, let's think about how miserable somebody has to be to complain about something all day long, to literally have hours of complaining to do. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. We think that's just, it's easy work. How do you make a paycheck from bitching? Right? So we're gonna open up the Bullhorn Bitch channel. So we have a place to bitch about all these things. I'm just joking. I know everybody's like, where's the channel? How do I sign up? Calm down, folks. Calm down, folks. I'm just joking. We're not opening that channel on Bullhorn Betty. We may have the Andrew Bitch channel, right? I did, Mab. Thank you. But she did, and I have from the very beginning said that, you know, it really does depend on the details. The people that watch, I think you even have been in here when I've talked about it, that it depends on the information as to whether the conflict exists. She even acknowledged that, first of all, one of the first things she says is that when it comes to legal opinion, which she was giving, many attorneys may have opposing views. So fair enough. She did start off with that. And I agree with that. She also said that pending more information, as it appears right now, there is no conflict. And I have also said that based on right now. And she also acknowledged that many people are concerned about the potential of the appeal. And she says that it's hard to do. I don't like that. You're right. It is hard to do. It's like the whole thing with Chatham County. They put a no loitering sign. If they would have arrested somebody on that no loitering sign, now we're going to be able to legally challenge that no loitering sign was unconstitutional to put there to prevent freedom of speech. So she also acknowledges that it could happen, but it's very difficult, and the challenge and the arguments are going to be hard to argue. That is, again, her legal opinion. So I want to make sure that I want you to tell you, first and foremost, I do agree with everything she said. But it does not preclude the conflict of interest. She even said in that statement, depending on more information, but based on what she has now, she's giving that opinion. And I have to agree 100%. Everything she said was 100%. And that was the Andrea Burkhart. She actually put that out 8 days ago. And yes, I did watch it because you sent it to me in the email. And I appreciate you being nice and respectful, because you yourself said I didn't want to have this discussion on your live. I appreciate that, because we could have went round and round. I did see what she said. Now that I have a good understanding what she said, I agree 100% with her. I agree at all the places that she went and looked, but again, it really does depend on the information that she did acquire and other information that we're not a privy to right now. I would still like it to at least be acknowledged by the defense. I still would like them to say, hey, we realize, we hear the concerns of the community about a perceived conflict of interest. The conflict of interest does not exist here because blah, 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 blah. I would like to hear that come from somebody personally. Now, is this an appeal? Trust me, no matter, even if they sign the waiver and all this other stuff, if there is potentially the conflict of interest, which I've said pretty much on when everybody was running with this story, that and actually, I wonder if I can find that in my lives and you guys can hear it directly from my mouth, but it's in one of the Brian Koberger lives we did. And I said, I realize everybody's running with the story that there's a conflict of interest, but the conflict of interest may not exist. But I do agree with her. I agree with all of her research that she's done. It's equal to what I have done. The one thing I didn't think about was the professional rules, for the attorneys. Those are very interesting. I'm glad she pulled those. I almost forgot about that. I did pull out the administrative rules for civil procedure. I did pull out the civil court and criminal court rules the criminal court rules of of procedure related to what goes on in that court, and the actual local court rules. Those are the things that I had pulled up, I had reviewed. The one thing I didn't review is the professional standards conduct that the state of Idaho had put out. So that was interesting that she did hone in on that. And I have forgotten to pull that. And it's in every single state. So yes, Matt, I do appreciate that being sent over. What is going on? I want to make sure I'm not missing anything from my mods. I do have the phone on so I can see you mods. If you guys, okay, yes, I forgot to tell you guys I was live. Sorry about that. Again, I'm the worst. I am the worst. I'm surprised Robin doesn't come here with a belt and like put me over her knee and whip my butt. Pop, pop, pop. Remind us. But yes, I did. And actually would like to, I'll pull a little portions of that video in. It's going to be the latter portions of the video. I can't think that's when she kind of gets into the nuts and bolts of what she's looking at and stuff like that. I thought it was very interesting and a very good perspective. But again, a legal opinion nonetheless, a valid legal opinion. And what I like about her is that she is she's an appellate attorney. So she's the one that deals with the appeals and things of that nature. So anybody that's going to be seasoned related to the appellate process would be Andrea Burkhart. So very thankful that you sent that over to me. So thank you. Crazy Mama Nana, Maria G, 357. Nice to see you. M Racy, Stacy, Pink Butterfly. Is Nilla's 911 call out? Pink Butterfly, we've already been calling out. We've already been discussing the 911 call related to this, and we're going to continue to discuss it because I think it's a pivotal moment in the case, because this is going to be what opens the door for the defense. This particular event where Dylan waited for forever, the longest 911 call ever, is really opening the door to the defense in this respect. I mean, they can literally, because of her actions, they can literally now mount a decent defense to speculate another person had came in there and did what happened to them because she waited so long. And not only that, we're finding out from Ethan Chapin's family that not only did she wait 8 hours to call, she called everybody in the house after she heard the whimpering and nobody answered the phones, even though she knew people were up, and never went to check on them, never went. So there's a lot more that's coming out now that it makes me say, yeah, we need to discuss this a little bit closer. We need to have people's opinions on this because now we've got actual family members. And I actually truly believe that part of why the Gonzalez, now I haven't spoken to the Gonzalez family. I mean, I'll send Olivia a message every now and again, just telling her that I'm keeping her in my thought, her and the family in my thoughts and prayers. You got to remember, Olivia is pregnant. You know, she's about to have a child. And this is really, I'm sure, has had to affect her and affect the baby in that respect because of the stress. The baby feels that. And so I really think that a lot of this is because the Gonzalez don't want to violate a court order, but they want their rights back. You know, there should not be in any way hindered from freely speaking about a case that does not involve them. They are involved by proxy. You know, basically they're involved because their daughter was a victim. They're not a witness to the crime. They're not a victim of the crime. I mean, in a sense, they are a victim because they've lost a loved one, but no different than any other family that has to deal with the same things. And they're not being precluded from speaking to the media or talking about their opinions of this case. They probably may have some very valid points that many of us out here would like to hear. And they are being silenced by a court system that has no rights to do so. So I'm really, having a hard time with this. And I've been having a hard time with many of you guys know from the beginning of this case, I have always had a hard time with the 911 call. I just have. It has been extremely difficult for me to deal with the 911 call. So much so from the beginning, we've been complaining literally from day one about this 911 call and the unconscious person. I finally found something that explains a little bit about the unconscious person, but we don't know if it applies in this case. I know they are so jealous. They can't be me. They can't be me. Nobody can be me. Like, so many people try. You can't, because there's only one Andrew Griffin in this world, and it's me. It doesn't matter what tag name I've got, a Bullhorn Betty or Battery Betty or Strangler Betty. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I work circles around these cows, and we're going to call them cows because they are so removed from their self-awareness that they themselves have been becoming the pun of their own commentary, right? Lowe's cows, the only people that are laughing are you. And trust me, I have far exceeded any of their expectations. They thought all of this would just make me melt and run away. You have nothing, literally nothing on Bullhorn Betty. You never have, you never will. And you can talk about the shit that happened 20 years ago, but be factual. That's all I'm asking. Be factual. And it must really burn your ass. Every time you open this, you're like, oh, I got her. Oh, no, I don't. But we're going to run with it anyways because it looks good. Okay. People see through your crap, and they're seeing through it more and more. That's why they don't watch anything else. They don't watch. When you put other people up on your channel, they don't care. They don't care. The only thing that makes you money is Bullhorn Betty. That's it. Or and actually MGF, right? Bullhorn Betty and MGF. And put us together, your numbers go through the roof, right? So you want to know why they have to hate on it? Because they have to get a paycheck, right? They're so worried about us and saying, hey, look over there. They're making money. Well, what the hell are you doing over here? Oh, those ads on there don't pay you? Okay. Yes. What's going on with Dylan? Amy, we're going to be getting to it. Your printer light is blinking. It always is blinking. It's just telling me, well, one, my magenta is out. I got to buy a new toner because a lot of our flyers that we send out, believe it or not, are red and yellows because red grabs people's attention. Yellow looks good next to red. So, bright red, like the Ruth Sakala flyer. Let me see if I can point that. I think it's still on JLR's page. I did see him do something, and it's sad news because the gal that we were looking for, Ruth Sakala, has been found. She has not been. She was found deceased. We were so close to her too. We were so stinking close to her. So stinking close. Right where we were looking. I'm curious as to find out as to whether let's see if I can find it. It's got to be here somewhere. Damn. JLR, you have way too many videos. Way too many videos. Just thought I'd throw that out there to you. When I can't find what I'm looking for on your channel, we got a problem. Yes, Mom.
Verizon Wireless. We're sorry. The number you have dialed has...
That was odd. Said I dialed the number. I never dialed the number. There she is. Trying to answer. It said the number I dialed was wrong. I'm like, I didn't dial a number.
I saw this really weird message on my phone, and it's like, what the heck? Okay. Responding to you're the best cook.
I didn't mean to offend you, Mom.
Nay.
But
Your mama.
I don't know. My chicken and dumplings, that's a pretty good dish. My gravies are out of this world.
Well.
My red sauce.
All right.
But Southern cooking, you got me beat. But over the years, you got lazy. You don't make real potatoes anymore.
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do. But I'm the one that instilled in your mind cooking is like art. And I did the same thing. You know, your sister, I don't think you took after me. You don't use a cookbook.
No.
Angela, she can't cook without using a cookbook. God bless her. But Taylor, now she takes the seasoning to the max.
Yeah, Taylor, when the first time I had her potatoes, I was like, Taylor, like, this kind of seasoning doesn't go into potatoes. I don't know where she learned how to make those types of potatoes. They were mashed potatoes they were like an everything potato.
Yes, I think it was at college after the cookie fiasco, but
Cookie Gate. Cookie Gate 2018.
Yeah. But yes, the jellyfish out there, if only they knew the truth.
They don't, but that's the thing. They don't want the truth. They just want anything that's going to be humiliating and embarrassing. And quite frankly, that's it. I mean, that is a civil suit. I mean, these people just don't get it. They're not going to get it until they're before a judge. And clearly that's the route that has to be taken.
It's a form of internet bullying, and it has to be stopped either by YouTube or legal reasons.
YouTube is not going to do anything about it. So it's going to have to be taken care of in court, as if I don't have enough. But hey, you know, if the girl wants to be exposed, then I'll expose her. I'm done. I'm taking the gloves off, and she thinks she can hide. She's done, and it's just going to be. Trust me. By the time this is all said and done, I'm going to be the one having the last laugh.
Oh,
as her entire channel implodes.
Been there, done that. Speaking of which, our last trip to Spartanburg, you left some clothes in my car.
Oh, did I?
And I washed them, and I have driven around with those clothes in my car for almost a year. So I brought them in, re-washed them, and I have them bagged up. Again.
Probably clothes that I need and forgot about. Way to go, Mom. Stealing Bullhorn Betty's clothes?
No, you left a dirty clothes bag in my car.
That's because I didn't want to wash my own clothes.
But anyways, what was I going to say? I'm very serious about the Koberger situation.
Mhm.
Those 2 cases that are close to Washington.
Yeah, I did. So I did review that video because I was up ridiculously early this morning. I saw your thing come in and I did watch it. But the one, the older one, the one in Oregon, yeah, that does it's kind of in line. It was in October, I believe, September, October. He would have been in Washington, but the first one that the last one he referenced was from 2020, and he was clearly in Pennsylvania in 2020. So I don't see how he could have been responsible for that one. But that one in Oregon, I know, has been brought up. And I don't believe law enforcement out there anymore because, they've deceived us before. And they're the ones that told us that they were not connected. And so I have to question everything now from that law. And I mean, I understand why they did it. I'm not mad at them. I'm glad they got their guy. But it takes everything that they told us, and now we have to question it because they duped us.
Yes. And the ironic piece is they all own a doodle.
I don't know if they said doodle, but they definitely said dog, that the dogs were unharmed.
Well, if you look at the pictures, the older lady, she had a doodle.
Mm.
The couple, they had a doodle.
Oh.
And guess who had a doodle? That's ironic.
Kaylee Gonzalez. How can somebody be a vegan and not want to hurt an animal? I mean, we by species are an animal. I mean, we're a human. We're a Homo sapien, but we're still part of the mammal species, and that would make us by design an animal. We'd be at the top of the food chain, but an animal nonetheless.
Well, I had a very knowledgeable doctor told me one time that if God intended us to be carnivores, we would have canines.
We do. We're all that's known as omnivores. We eat both. We have herbivore and carnivore in us.
I know.
That's what the flat teeth are for. To chew the salad. The front teeth are to bite.
Well, let me tell you something. Talk about law enforcement guessing. They have it down to a science. I watched the Murdaugh trial yesterday. I've been watching it every day.
Interesting stuff yesterday.
Well, did you notice the sneakers?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear the healthcare worker explain what shoes he had?
A cloth type shoe on him at the time he came over there. Definitely not a leather tennis shoe.
Yes. Exactly. Did you see the sneakers they recovered from him that night?
Mm-hmm. Definitely changed a pair of shoes from the time he left to the time he went home.
Teal and white sports shoes. And then the last gal that was on who tested the rain poncho, the gunshot wound, gunshot residue.
Her name was Kristen Hall. Kristen Hall, the GSR SLED forensic investigator.
Yes. Okay.
Actually, that wasn't Kristen Hall. That was it. Yeah, it was Kristen Hall that did the testing. It was crap. I can't remember the girl's name. Moody that marked it.
Did you hear the part where she said the shirt smelled freshly laundered?
Laundered, yeah. She made so much so she actually notated it
in her room
at the time that she did the inspection of the clothes. And they're trying to say that they weren't freshly laundered just because they have wrinkles. I mean, I you know me and my laundry schedule. Like I throw the stuff in the dryer. It may sit there for several days. You pull something out of the dryer, it's going to be wrinkly. This shirt just a few short hours ago was a wrinkly shirt that sat in the dryer until I ran the dryer again to pull the wrinkles out of it.
You made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry, you're talking about the shirt being laundered.
That was all in camera or profit. The only avenue the defense had was to try to disqualify the information, and they couldn't.
I knew there was something with that jacket. Like, the lady's like, there's no blood on the jacket. I'm like, why are they fighting so hard to get this jacket excluded? Like, the defense and the prosecution, the state, they're like having a like fight. You know, they're just duking each other over this jacket. I couldn't figure out why. And then we went on recess, and I'm like, oh, it's the jacket that has the GSR testing. I heard about it, but I haven't seen the jacket.
Well, I have said from day one, the reason he went to his mama's house was to get rid of evidence.
Yep. Yeah.
But anyways, I've taken up enough time. I just thought I'd give you a call and give you my thoughts and tell everyone out there, and especially the jellyfish, if only you knew the truth.
I know. After everything that they, like, I can't believe that their audience is so stupid, because it's like, you mean to tell me she's done this? How can she be walking? Like, my Lord, from what they say, I should have been buried under the jail. Like, they should have thrown me in a cell and took the key and threw it away. Like, none of it's true. Like, what are people going to get it through their thick skull?
Oh, don't they know you were on America's Most Wanted?
Mom, they're going to be spending the rest of their day looking for my America's Most Wanted clip.
Oh my gosh, I'm being facetious.
Shh, Ma! They could have been occupying their time today. Thanks for blowing it.
Oh, okay.
I love it. All right, Mom.
I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.
She just had to ruin it. She almost had them looking for a America's Most Wanted picture of me. They would have spent all day looking for my America's Most Wanted photo. Mom had to ruin it right there at the end. There's almost 600 people in this chat. If you guys are enjoying yourself this morning, if I put a smile on your face, don't forget to go out there and put a thumbs up. And even if it's a pity thumbs up, like people are beating up on Bullhorn Betty again, give me a pity thumbs up. I'll take it. I'm just joking. It's nice to see you, Sheila, M.E., Vape King, Karen Klein. It's nice to see you guys. I'm still going through it. I know you wouldn't know. 47 minutes that I still haven't said hi to everybody here. Dodo, it's nice to see you. Brandy, thank you, Brandy, for the memberships yesterday, by the way. I don't see them on this side, but my mods have been trying to keep me engaged with that on that side, the stuff that they can see that I don't see on here. So the things I don't see is the gift of memberships and the milestones. You know, when you guys have your monthly milestones from your membership, I don't see them. They don't come over here. It's frustrating. So I am going to, there's a lot of paperwork that I've got to do. So I'm not going to be promising any more lives other than our 2-hour live that we do in the morning. This is probably going to be extended a little bit longer this morning because we got a lot to talk about. And the fact that I've got the meeting, but the meeting's not starting, and we started so early, so ridiculously early this morning, that we should be able to do about a 2.5 hour live this morning before I have to go. So we are going to get into it. I know we kind of got sidetracked a little bit with some of the stuff. I'm sorry. You know, I usually don't address it. I usually just keep on, take the licking and keep on ticking. But it's like at some point, like, seriously, get your facts together. Like, you're discrediting yourself because anybody with their brain can go plug in that court hearing and find out what happened. And guess what? Bullhorn Betty had nothing to do with it. But you weren't after the truth. That's the problem I have. You're not after the truth, and you're intentionally deceiving your audience. Intentionally. For what purpose? Other than to continue the harassment on me, like getting emails from people that are so stupid, they can't even do their own damn research before they open their trap. It's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I were you. Especially you keep saying all this stuff and it comes out not to be true. I mean, at what point are people going to realize they are lying to you? They are lying to you. And I hope that the people that are listening to this and actually take it as true, do their own due diligence and their own research and quit taking because you look like idiots. Seriously, anybody with a brain can tell you that she does not know what she's talking about. And I have never had any kind of administrative problems ever in any state. I can get licensed in any state that I want to. I pass an FBI background check. You cannot be licensed with those types of allegations. You can't. You would not pass your FBI background. I pass my FBI background with flying colors each and every time. So clearly they are deceiving their audience. If their audience is stupid enough to listen to it, fine. They're just that stupid. I can't fix stupid, right? I can only inform. And the only thing I got is don't even listen to me. Don't listen to me. Do your own damn research, but damn sure don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Do your own research. If you honestly believe I'm that bad, go look for yourself. Show me how bad I am. You can't. You can't. All they are doing is for clicks and views. That's it. That's all they're doing. That's the reason why they keep peddling stuff that's untrue, that is factually untrue, because they need the clicks and the views. Isn't that what they accuse me of doing? However, I come here and give you guys the truth. The difference is they don't. And they're too busy complaining about me. They can't even see the trees for the forest, or the forest for the trees, whichever way you want to do it, right? But enough of that. I do a cup of coffee that way. Who knew? Where are we in this thing? So let's go ahead and get started. We're already messed a lot of this time up. Hold on here. I think I do have some super stickers and super chats in here. I don't want to miss any. We had Mab. We got the Sword of the Spirit, which is that. Never in your right. Even Dylan never calling 911. We are assuming that. I believe that it was Hunter that picked up her phone and called 911, but I am assuming that that is not a factual statement. That is an assumption being made based upon other information that I have not been able to corroborate. Even the statements from Ethan Chapin's family that pretty much say the same thing, that she called her friends and it was the neighbor that came over that used the phone. But there's no way to corroborate that information. So we are taking it as semi-fact because it's coming from a family member, but in the same vein, we're not taking it as 100% factual because we have nothing to corroborate it with. Anyways, Sweetie Pie, you're in Australia. Thank you for joining in, 10 p.m. I'll keep you up until 12, and then you can go to sleep. I don't know why I keep getting hiccups in the morning. It's like now it's becoming like an everyday occurrence. Every time I drink coffee and I talk, I get hiccups. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the sweetener. I don't get it. Let's see where we are. Say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. Thank you for reminding us of that. They don't have a life, Betty. All they do is complain about everything. It doesn't matter what you do. I know, right? Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like everybody's like, oh, if you just did good. Love your show. Thank you, Kat. Thank you. We love you being here. I love the fact that you come and hang out with us. And our chat is really awesome, and we talk about a lot of stuff. But let me get on to the information. I know we discussed that we were going to be discussing this a little more in depth. Today was, Dylan. We've had a lot of mixed feelings on this channel related to Dylan. Some that are angry with me for putting a target on her back, which I state that I didn't put a target on her back. I didn't do these actions. We are a channel that does stick to facts. We speculate and, give our opinion and our theories based upon the factual information. But at the end of the day, we talk about the facts of the case. And at the end of the day, these are the facts of the case. This is not something that I've made up. I mean, this is something that is in the Brett Payne affidavit, in the probable cause affidavit that got Brian Kohberger arrested all the way in Pennsylvania. So it's not law enforcement putting a target on her back. They have to put that stuff in there. They had to get an arrest warrant for Brian Kohberger. They're not the emotional police. They're not the public opinion police. They're the police that arrest people and put them behind bars for crimes. They don't care what you say or do. All they care about is getting their man. And if you waited 8 hours to call law enforcement, they're required to state that to the court, especially in an affidavit under oath. So you can't fault the police for doing their job. You can't fault the courts for doing their job. You can't fault me for doing my job. The only person here that made those decisions was Dylan Mortensen. She put the target on her back. But if you want to go a little further than that, this is all Brian Kohberger's fault. This is not Dylan's fault. This is not the police's fault. This is not Bullhorn Betty's fault. This is not the court's fault. This is a crime a sicko chose to perpetrate upon innocent victims. And one of those people caught in the crosshair is Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. There are many allegations coming out that Bethany may not even have been home, but I have to state, if it's in the probable cause affidavit for the arrest of Brian Kohberger, which it is, we're going to go over it again here in just a moment. Actually, let's go ahead and pull it up now. Might as well. We got nothing better to do with our time than get all these facts correct, right? That's our only job here today, is to get these facts correct. So let me go in my file, find the court docs. There they are. Brett Payne affidavit. And I want to make sure that we are aware, and I want to give this disclaimer, that this is not our fault. This is not this channel's fault. This is not people that are talking about this's fault. The person that started all this was Brian Kohberger, okay, allegedly. He has not been convicted in a court of law. I am not a court of law. I believe that while you're in a court of law, you have due process. You have the rights to a speedy trial. You have the right to a proper defense. And you have a right to challenge these things. You are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. If you've noticed, this is not a courtroom. I am not a judge. I am a legal professional that has worked in the law as a paralegal for well over a decade. That's the expertise I bring to the table. That's it. My life experience. That's it. And I have a good way of understanding the legalese and explaining things, especially when it comes to legal documents, to my audience. That is the gift that I have. I have a great understanding of the law because I studied it. And not only did I study it, I graduated in the top 2% of my class with a 3.67 GPA. So I did pay attention in school. Okay. With that being said, I am reading this affidavit. Again, when law enforcement does an affidavit, they are required under penalty of perjury, the same requirement that we, when we provide affidavits, are required to do. Okay? We're going to talk about the complaint next because I want you guys to understand that just because it's in this affidavit under oath doesn't make it true. They have to prove everything that is contained in this affidavit, or at least a good portion beyond a reasonable doubt. This affidavit was very well put together. We discussed it on this channel at length about how well this is put together. And if they can just prove 85% of this affidavit, Brian Kohberger has big and huge problems and a huge uphill battle ahead of him, because it looks like they identified him early on. They have been watching him and monitoring him early on. God knows what evidence they truly have that we have no idea about. There's been a lot of speculation, even to the law enforcement going to his house in Pennsylvania and how they saw him dumping his trash in his neighbors, trash cans and things of that nature when they had the bars and stuff like that. I'm not sure how they did that. I do know that there was a helicopter above their house. And I have to honestly say that out of all the search warrants and arrest warrants that I have watched unfold, one, I have never seen them with a helicopter hovered over the actual Holmes house, like top of the roof, hover over there. So that may have been how they breached that house without having to go through the gates. It is possible. We know that the helicopter was there. We spoke to neighbors in that community. One of them saying that she's up that time of night. She heard everything. But it comes back to the 911 call and people's opinion that Dylan has a target on her back somehow because of law enforcement or somehow because of these YouTube channels or other social media platforms. That's not true. I want to dispel that from people's minds because I feel like you're giving her you're giving her a pass on something she should not have a pass on. Okay, we understand that she's a young woman. We understand that she was at least at some point instantly in shock when she saw a masked intruder, but at some point she snapped out of that shock because now we're knowing that there's action that she took after she saw that assailant, such as shutting her door and locking it. That takes thought. That's not a shock. That's not something you do while you're in shock. So she actually closed the door and had the forethought to lock the door. Then she also had the forethought to pick up the phone and call every roommate in that house. Nobody answered the phone. She heard whimpering from her roommate across the aisle. She even called her. No answer. So we didn't put a target on her back asking these very important questions of why it took over 8 hours to call 911. And not only that, why wasn't she the one that called them? Somebody said in here, and we're going to run with that, she didn't call them, that it was Hunter, the neighbor across the street, that picked up her phone and used it to call 911. Since the beginning of this case, we knew there were some problems with the 911 call because, one, they did not want to release it. Two, they did not really want to address it in their press conferences, other than they received a call of an unconscious person. They went to around 11:58 in the morning. They went to the house where they found 4 deceased individuals. And, that was really the crux of the case. And they didn't explain the, unconscious person call. All they did was explain that there was multiple people that spoke to dispatch, and that all the people that were in the house and spoke to dispatch at the time that this was occurring have all been cleared. That's what we heard from law enforcement. And if people want to dispute that, I may not have said everything verbatim, but I definitely have enough pages of press conference here to assert that was pretty much the gist of what they've said about the 911 call. It wasn't until this Brett Payne affidavit, and we read it here live on the Bullhorn Betty channel, and while we were reading it, I was utterly shocked. Many of the people in our audience was utterly shocked. We had no clue what had happened because we were removed from that. They never told us that. But they were required to submit the statement of probable cause and the affidavit attached to it for the arrest of Brian Koberger. That the public has a right to see. We have a right to be part of this public trial. And we were told that this affidavit would not be released and then until March 1st, but somehow the courts had a change of heart and went ahead and released it. They said that this was so damaging that it was a public safety matter. And when I read it, I was really, really angry that a judge would agree that this created a public safety matter. It did not. It did not rise to that level. And that ticks me off when I'm dealing with judges that are playing these games. Judges are not to be played in these types of games. That's for the defense and the prosecution. There was nothing in this affidavit that would create a public safety concern. Nothing. And I would like some of the legal professionals, even Andrea Burkhart, to speak on that. Because there was nothing in this affidavit that created a public concern. Let's go over this affidavit. I'll go ahead and pull it up for you guys so you guys can see what we are doing. I got to do a window. There we go. Okay. Let me take this banner off so we can get a better, clearer picture of everything. Okay. There we go. Hide sidebar. There we go. Now we got it bigger. So I think everybody can read this. If you can't read it, let me know. But I think everybody can read this. We know what's in here. This is not where our concern is. There's a few places of concern that I see with this. Maybe it does tell us where it was. So they didn't tell us where in this report where Ethan was. That was another thing I was reading. It says, Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I walked up to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hall to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings in that room. It was Xana Kernodle's. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hall. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by a edged weapon. Also in the room was later identified as Ethan Chapin, was also deceased with wounds and later determined. So it doesn't really tell us where in this affidavit. It does not tell us where his positioning, because that's another spot of contention, is where was he positioned? Was he half inside or half outside of that bedroom? Was he more into the living room? Let me just, sorry guys. Oh, thank you, Shannon, for renewing your membership with us. God bless you. At least I see that. I just don't see your milestone. So God bless you for that. If you did do a milestone, thank you. A comment for your milestone. Thank you. I don't get to see those on this sense, so I apologize about that. I'm going to go ahead and skip over the rest of these comments so I can get caught up, so I can watch what you guys are saying now. So just bear with me. There we go. And I know that people are, okay, who knows what DM would see as a strange but not dangerous. After the fact, she has knowledge of what happened. I'm guessing some party going on in the house, so who knows what someone else is normal. Unhinged, I get your point of that, but I'm sorry. It didn't appear. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, Xana received her food at 4:12. Clearly, there was no party going on that second floor. Clearly. Dylan was in her room. Xana and Ethan were in their room on that same floor. That is the area that everybody gathers in and parties in, was on that second floor, because it has the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom. It's the second floor. And then they go out to the backyard where they hang out with their friends, sometimes getting too loud, where law enforcement is coming there. So I agree, the normal part, but this does not apply in this case. There was nobody in this house partying. There was no music going on. There was no people in the living room. It's everybody had scattered to their room by 4 a.m. Everybody was in their room. No party. That's stated in this affidavit. So no party. And nobody was there. Everybody was going to bed. So we have to put that into play as well. Again, causing more questions related to the 911 call with Dylan. And we're going to get to that. So we're going to pass all this information about the K-bar knife. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by the Mascow Police Department, Idaho State Police detectives, and a FBI agent. 2 of the interviews included Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. Both Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen were inside the King residence at the time of the homicide. That is a statement of fact that is entered into under penalty of perjury. Under penalty of perjury. So people have been discussing quite a bit that they don't believe Bethany Funk was home at the time of these crimes. According to this affidavit from this law enforcement lead detective, Brett Payne, he is stating under oath that she was in that home at the time the crimes were committed. So I know people, they need their clicks, they need their views, and they're going to speculate whether she was there. This affidavit is stating she was at home, and not only at home, but at the King residence at the time of the homicide, where the roommates to victim BF, Bethany Funk's bedroom, was located on the east side on the first floor. So Bethany Funk was literally the only person residing on that first floor. She was the only one. No other person, because the room next to her was empty. And we saw that in the September 2nd noise complaint when law enforcement came up there. Just Samantha said they should have drug tested DM if she was. They may have. Again, they're not. They may have put her through a rigorous test because she was a surviving roommate on that second floor. BF has been silenced by her parents. They are important in the area, allegedly. Well, she can only stay silent for so long because they're going to probably most likely drag her butt into court. So they're saying, based on the numerous interviews, they have the following. So here it is. This is where one of my problems lie in this case. So on the evening of November 12th, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF by BF, Bethany Funk, at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus from approximately 9 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. on the 13th. We were told by law enforcement that the 2 surviving roommates were out in the Mascow community, but were not at the Sigma Chi fraternity party, nor were they at the Corner Club. That both Bethany and Dylan made it home around 1 p.m. That is what they said in press conferences to us. Let me see if I can find those press conferences. Give me just a second. Because I'd like to be factual here. The things that some of our haters can't, that do not have the brain to do, we're going to do here. And I want you to hear this. Let me go here. Because I remember, I believe it was on November 30th or December 5th, where they talk about this. So let me go, I'm in the wrong Facebook. Give me a second. That does happen. Okay. Now let me find Mascow Police Department. All right, we're almost here. So we got them all pulled up. Hold on a second. They got a lot of stuff that goes on besides just. So June 23rd. Okay, so here it is, the update. Let me find the updates. Okay, that's not that one. So we're on November 20th. Let me see if this is it. I don't know where it's at. Here it is. Here it is. Hold on. I think this is updated here. Do we remember when? Because they're giving us updates, but I'm looking for the press conferences. Anyways, I'll have to find them, and I'll have to get back to you guys on the press conferences. But there was the press conferences. I know we've all heard them over and over and over again. Let me see if I can find the press conferences. Moscow. Look at the media relations. Maybe I can find at least the press release for it. No, I think they removed all that. Oh, that's right. They were all on the. Okay, I know where I can go to get them. Sorry, guys. I keep forgetting about that. Hold on. Let me go to YouTube. They're on the University of Idaho. They were the ones that were monitoring. University of Idaho. They were the ones recording all the press conferences. So let's go ahead. Go in here. Okay, here we go. The 20th and the 21st, the 23rd. Press conference. I'm going to show you because I want you guys to hear it because it really does upset me a little bit about it because they were talking about, and I think it was the 20th. Let's listen to what they have to say. Give me just a second. Let me hide this screen and let me pull up another screen. It might have been the 23rd that they came out with the information about the people. Hold on. It wasn't until Lanier comes up.
I just want to first state that this tragic murder has shaken the community. It's been very hard for members of those autopsies. We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death. Maps which are on our Facebook page and on our website, and these are areas that they have canvassed for additional surveillance video and tips and have contacted several residents in the areas. The areas are generally west of other neighborhoods looking and contacting some conjecture. The following individuals are involved in this crime: the 2 surviving roommates, a male seen at the grub truck food vendor downtown,
explaining the people that are excluded,
wearing a white hoodie,
that have already been.
A private party who provided rides home to Kaylee and Madison. The identity of the 911 caller and the 911 call have not been released, so any information out there is speculation about that. Investigators are aware that multiple phone calls from Madison and Kaylee's phone were made to a male subject. Any online reports stating that the victims had been tied and gagged are not accurate. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road and searched those dumpsters in an effort to find additional evidence, but nothing of note was discovered. Early in the investigation, Local businesses were canvassed in an effort to see if any fixed blade type knives may have recently been purchased. And currently, there are no suspects in custody, and we have not located a weapon. I want to assure you that every investigator involved will continue to put all of their resources and all of our partner agencies' resources into continuing this investigation. We do appreciate the community support. We understand how to do this. And the mic over to Colonel Wills from the Idaho
Okay,
State
so that's
Police.
definitely not the one. So let's go to the other one that is on here. And that is, it's the one, I think it, when he explains a little bit more about it. Give me just a second. Let me pull that one up. It was the one on the 23rd. These were lives. '23rd. Here we go. Let me put this up. I want you guys to hear it because I feel like a little duped in some respects, because they told us that the girls were home by 1 p.m. That's what they told the world, is that these girls were up by 1 p.m. So here's Chief, there's Lanier.
Holiday to continue their efforts. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to the Idaho State Police, the FBI.
Blah,
On
blah,
the
blah.
morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed. The call reported an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence, and a surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were on scene. Mascow police officers responded and found 2 victims, 2 on the 2nd floor and 2 on the 3rd floor of 1122 King Road. The results of autopsies indicated that the 4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved.
We already
The
know
surviving
all the people that
roommates,
weren't involved.
the male seen in a grub truck area west of US 95 over to the Arboretum. We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that.
Clearly, they did.
Have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report. No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders. We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call.
So there was multiple people. We keep forgetting that.
Any online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. Regarding the resources that we've put forth in this investigation,
This is not all of
the
them.
Mascow Police Department has 4 detectives.
I'm not listening to all that. Okay, so this is not the ones. I'll have to find it, but he specifically says that the 2 surviving roommates were out in the Mascow area. I think it was December 5th, but I can't seem to find it on here, and I will look for that statement. But they do state that they were out in the community, and that they both Dylan and Bethany were home by 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. So this brings me to a whole nother line of questioning when I hear this statement of primarily Bethany being able to corroborate that she saw. She said on the evening of November 12th, right here, Chapin and Carnota are seen by BF, Bethany Funk, at the Sigma Chi house at the on the University of Idaho campus. They give the address from approximately 9 p.m. to 1:45. Again, this contradicts what we are hearing from law enforcement, especially early on in this case. By December 5th, they were already on to Brian Kohberger. And I know this because I remember the date I was outside of the Washington State University sign, and that was December 2nd. So we have December 2nd when we were there, and we find out from this affidavit that they've been following him, or at least were aware of him, on November 29th. So they go on to say that Gonzalez and Mogan were at the Corner Club. But here is where things start getting a little weird. It says DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicate the occupants of the King Size Road were home by 2 a.m., which is an hour different from what they told all of us. And I guess they were talking about the victims. But they didn't say that. They indicated that the occupants of the King Road residents were at home by 2 a.m. So that means everybody was home by 2 a.m. and at least asleep or in their rooms by 4 a.m. We know that to be true. We know that Xana ordered Uber Eats or whatever the other food delivery services could be at 4:12. That food was delivered at 4:12. DoorDash, it's right here, DoorDash at 4:12. We know that to be true. They said received DoorDash at approximately 4 a.m. We know now that it was at 4:12 that she, and here it goes right here, at 4:12 that she actually, 4:12 is the TikTok app. So she received food at 4 a.m. and she says that it sounded like Gonzalez was playing with her dog upstairs. So it sounds like at this point in time, it sounds like something was already going on upstairs around 4 a.m. We know that to be true now. She also heard Gonzalez says something to the effect of there's someone here. A review of records obtained from forensic downloads of Kernodle's phone indicate that she was on TikTok at 4:12 in the morning. So she had already received her food. She was probably sitting there eating her food while she was playing on her phone. Many of us do that. We can visualize that happening. DM states she looked out of her bedroom and did not see anything. When she heard the comments about someone being in the house, DM stated she opened the door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male's voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Eerie comments. Let's not forget. At approximately 4:17 in the morning. Now, again, only 5 minutes after Xana was on TikTok, only 5 short minutes. 5 minutes can feel like eternity, depending on where you are. But in this case, 5 minutes later, a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a resident immediately to the northwest, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like whimpering, followed by a loud thud. A dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 in the morning. And they go on to say that the security camera is less than 50 feet away from Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated she opened her door a third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose. Described 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. Okay. Everybody took this whole frozen phase to the next level in trying to say that she was in shock for 8 hours. If she was in shock for 8 hours, she would be still sitting at that door with the door cracked. That's what shock does to you. It doesn't tell you to shut the door and lock it. And it doesn't tell you to pick up the phone and call all the people in the room. That tells me your shock has now gone away. The male walked toward the back sliding doors. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. The combination of DM's statement to law enforcement, review of forensic download records from Bethany Funk and DM's phone, and videos of the suspect video of a suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25. Much different than the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. that we were told. So now we were told that Bethany and Dylan were in separate areas in the Mascow community and made it home at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. That was false. We heard that these killings took place from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. That was false. We heard from law enforcement that the car that was used was a 2011 to 2013. That was false. You get the drift of this? Again, I'm not angry with law enforcement, but this also explains, what does it say? Hold on. It also explains, when law enforcement tells us, let's not listen to any other source of information except what comes from law enforcement. This is why we go outside of law enforcement to acquire our own information, because they will deceive us. If this doesn't show that, I don't know what will. I think it would probably behoove law enforcement to start working with social media instead of against social media. If you brought us in and told us, hey, here's what's going on, but we can't reveal this, we would probably oblige those requests. I know me personally, I would do that, but they don't. And they're not going to get the cooperation of social media when they are lying to us in these cases. We understand they have messaging that needs to get out. Lying to us is not how we do it. Lying to us will just make us tune you out and find our own information, which is not what law enforcement ever wants us to do. But again, this paints the picture of why we are upset with Dylan Mortensen. We understand that she is a victim, at least to the burglary. We understand she is a witness to these homicides. We understand that the revelation of this is very hard on her. But to say that the police put a target on her back or we're somehow doing something wrong couldn't be further from the truth. We didn't make these facts up. These are the facts of the case. The bottom line is like I said yesterday, Dylan Mortensen has opened up the defense to be able to put reasonable doubt in people's minds because she chose to shut her door and go to bed. That's the problem we have, and we want to know why. I don't know why. I can only speculate. None of us know why she did it. Anything you're hearing as the slam dunk as to why she waited 8 hours to call for help, nobody is going to know. And no matter what people are telling you online, it can't possibly be true unless they got the information directly from Dylan Mortensen herself. So if you're hearing, oh, this is why it happened or that's why it's happened, take that with a grain of salt because nobody really knows. And we have to realize that this is YouTube, and just like these hate channels, they need their clicks, they need their views. I have always tried to maintain the integrity of this channel. So unless there's something new or something that we can talk about, I'm not going to be diving back into the case and unearthing all the stuff that we've already previously discussed. I'm already hearing people, like even my mother, she's calling about the person. Now, the Oregon people, That is a little concerning for me. That is in the a good time frame when Brian Kohberger was actually in the area. So that could be likely. However, the other case that they were referring to that also happened on the 13th, Brian would never have been able to do that himself. That was in 2020. And he was clearly at DeSales University in Pennsylvania at the time that crime was committed. So it's leaving me to believe that it is possible that one of the crimes he could have committed. The other one, absolutely, hands down, I just don't think there will ever be facts to support that claim. Again, a claim and supporting facts, those are things that our haters don't like, right? They like the bad stuff, but they don't like the good stuff. Thank you, Donna. God bless you. Let's see what Unhinged said. It might help people understand the psychology of college-age persons living away from home, be able to better understand why a person may have. No, listen, my sister is her age. So, and lived in a university in on-campus housing and off-campus housing. Trust me, I understand the psychology of a college-age person, and there is no time that my sister would have a strange guy, masked, black, clad in black, with only this part of his face being seen, and her not call the law. There's no excuse for this. Many people don't realize that there's 18 years difference between me and my younger sister. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know my sister just graduated a university just some few short years ago. I had to take her stuff to the university. I'm not going to put her college out there, but I had to drive her stuff there. I remember packing up my husband's mid-sized pickup truck, and she had stuff literally over the top. Like, we had the whole back bed filled, so much so I couldn't see out the window, driving her to college, just to find out she was only going to be there 6 weeks. I told my mother, I'm not picking her up. I'm not packing. It was the hottest day in that, I think it was September or August. It was the hottest day here in Florida ever. It was like 110 or 111 degrees. It was something ridiculous. And we had to lug all that crap over a mile away, because where the parking lot was and where her on-campus housing was literally a walk. Many people that went there had strollers and things that they had wheels on that could take. We didn't. We had a hand carry and hand lug, all of that, because we did not realize it was our first time going there. We did not realize how far away parking was from her dorm. So, no, we're not giving her. Quit giving people free passes. Quit giving people free passes. The bottom line is, she saw a masked intruder in her home. She heard whimpering. She had to open her door 3 separate times and then turns around and goes to bed. I'm sorry. At what point are we going to quit giving Dylan a free pass and asking her some seriously tough questions? Why? I'm not here to make people feel good. I don't care about how her feelings feel. I want to know why she left one of her roommates on the floor to die when she could have easily picked up the phone and called 911. Could Xana have been saved? Maybe not. But guess what? We will never know. And at the end of the day, you cannot blame me for those facts. Those are the facts of the case. And I have opinion and a theory and speculative in nature on those very facts. But I think it is a disservice to everyone to keep trying to find excuses for this girl. She is an adult. Even freaking 5-year-olds know when they're in danger to pick up the phone and dial 911. She's certainly smarter than a 5-year-old child, I would have to presume. This is not a PC chat room. unhinged. We already know how you feel about me. Let's be honest. I know who you are, right? So I'm happy to have you in the chat to conversate. But yes, I have too have had trauma, and I blurt it out so freely. And if people have triggering effects from it, this is not the chat room for them. And I think everybody knows that by now. For the new people in here, we do not put trigger warnings up for people. We talk freely about certain facts. If you need a trigger warning to talk about certain facts of the case, this is probably not the channel you want to be watching. I don't kowtow to PC culture. I will never. If you have trauma that you need out, you state what you need to have out. If people don't like it, that's their problem, not yours. That's how we roll here. I feel so bad for the real victims that died, are not victims, they're surviving witnesses. I mean, if nothing more, they are a victim of a burglary, but they are not a victim of a homicide. Their 4 roommates were the victims of those homicides. They are a victim of not doing the right thing and it being plastered all over the United States and abroad. They are definitely a victim of that. But again, that's factual statements that we can't dispute. Nobody told her to wait 8 hours to call 911. The families of the victims, that's what I said, the families of the victims are having the same issues with this. And we're finding out from the victim's family that she even went a step further. She heard the whimpering and started calling all of her roommates, and none of them answered the phone. So what does she do? Rolls over and goes to sleep. Great job. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be on here, and I'm not going to worry about my reputation of being on here, and I'm not going to worry about people saying I'm victim shaming. I'm sorry. I didn't make the facts. I didn't make the facts of these cases, and I damn sure didn't make this stuff up. This is right here in black and white. Let's keep going. During the processing of the crime scene, they found a latent shoe print. What does latent mean? It's not seen to the naked eye. So that means they may have had an alternative light source that went in there that found them. It may have been so faint that it wouldn't have been seen, but they did photograph it. They did check it with amido black, which is a protein that detects the presence of cellular material, i.e. human blood, or blood. I don't want to go far as saying human blood. As part of the investigation, an extensive search commonly referred to as law enforcement as a video canvas was conducted in the area. I'm not going to go there, and we're going to keep going through here. Review of footage obtained by King Road shows the suspect's vehicle starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. So that's related to that. We're going to get down to the statements made by this is all about the car. And 4:25. I know we kept reading this, and I wonder if did I pass it already? Give me a second. Keep going. Seems like it would have been up at the top, not down here, but I'm going to just go here. Okay, and it goes into the December 13th. Goes over his digital data. It shows you the route he took. Like he could have went from here over here, and he took this long, drawn out route to get home. Further, trying to unless he was dumping stuff at that time. Where are we? So it's still tracking his pings. Okay, so it was at the top. Hold on, let me go back there. We missed it. I don't know if they put the time in here. We just knew that it was 11:58 when the call came in. But I think what was shocking is that she actually saw the intruder and did nothing. I think that is what, and the 11:58 has been confirmed as the time that law enforcement was called. And then it goes right into the suspect's vehicle and wherever he went. So I think the shocking part was in this affidavit is that Dylan Mortensen not only did not call law enforcement, she called the roommates in the house that night. We learned that from the statements from Ethan Chapin's family. Let me see if I can pull those up. I had those here. I think they're, let me just see. I want to read those to you if I can find them. Give me just a second. Get close. Maybe not. I thought they were on this one, but I guess not. Maybe Team Summer. By the way, Team Summer, thank you for that cash app. I do appreciate it. So I can't find it, but we had the statements. I'll look for them again. Actually, let me just do a quick cursory search of them. Chapin family. Here we go. Daily Mail. Give me just a second. Okay. So here's the Daily Mail article here. All right, so we have some stuff going on. I'm just going to try to find the photos. Here it is. So here's one of them. It says it was from 3 months ago. Ethan's sister-in-law verified. Yes, I hope they come out. It will come out what Dee heard. Dee supposedly called all the girls in the house after the crying and screaming stopped. You guys hear that? After the crying and screaming stopped and no one answered, and she still didn't call the cops. She needs to explain herself and her actions that night. This is from the victims' families. We know Steve Gonzalez is trying to fight the gag order that was placed on him and his family so they can discuss this case. And I'm wondering if his sentiments would mimic this as we find information coming out. It says, let's just read the whole entire article. Family members of murdered university student Ethan Chapin has questioned why the roommate who survived the slaying did not call the cops. An account believed to belong to Ethan's sister-in-law made several posts online before the arrest affidavit was unsealed for the suspected quadruple killer Brian Kohberger. The court documents detailed how the surviving roommate, Dylan Mortensen, came face to face with a masked man on the night of the murder. This is what is making this conversation so important for us, is because at the end of the day, nobody did this to her but herself. Like, who in their right mind would not call law enforcement? There has to be a reason, right? I believe that there is, without a doubt, a reason to why she didn't call the cops. It could have been one of two things. It could have been her intoxicity of a substance or something else. I truly do not know. What I can tell you is that they weren't called for 8 hours, and people have the right to question why she wasn't called for 8 hours. So it says Ethan 20, his girlfriend Xana Kernodle 20, Maddie Mogan 21, Kaylee Gonzalez 20, and I believe Kaylee was 21, were all killed as they slept in the house on November 13th. We found out that all of them were sleeping. His sister-in-law since revealed that Dylan, who was in the property at the time of the killings, along with Bethany Funk, again corroborating the fact that Bethany Funk was in the house at the time of these murders. Anybody telling you otherwise, it is now in an affidavit before the court under penalty of perjury, and we have corroboration from the family. At the time, Bethany, along with Bethany Funk, called all of the roommates after she heard screaming and crying coming from their rooms. So if anything, it sounds like law enforcement didn't put a target on her back and absolutely left a few major details out that will surface here in the near future as this case starts winding up. The post in the thread on Reddit says Dee supposedly called all the girls in the house after crying and screaming stopped and no one answered, and she still did not call the police. Then it goes on to say she needs to explain herself for her actions that night. When questioned about who did call the police, she added 911 caller was the friend who went in because Dee called him to come over because she was scared from what she heard in the night. He went to Xana and Ethan's room first and then called 911. Why D or B did not call the police once is the question. Again, coming from Ethan Chapin's family. This is not something Bullhorn Betty's making up. This is not something that's unfactual. This is factual information that happened that many of us have the right to question. Let's keep reading. He went to Xana and Ethan's room first, then called 911. Why did we already read that? The affidavit revealed that Mortensen came face to face with a bushy-eyed killer, but was spared along with Funk. Mortensen told police she heard several scuffles through the night and opened her door, and when she saw the suspect dressed in black with mask covering his face and heard one of her roommates say, "There's someone here," she also heard the suspect say, "It's okay, I'm here to help you," as he wandered the house committing the atrocity. Police confirmed that the 911 call was made from the phone of one of the surviving roommates at 11:58, who requested help for an unconscious person, though it has not been confirmed who spoke to police. It has raised the question why Mortensen didn't contact authorities sooner, with some arguing she may have been frozen by fear. Again, she'd still be standing at the damn doorway if she was frozen by fear. You can't make stuff up to appease your thought process. You're either frozen by fear or you're not. Clearly, the frozen by fear only lasted moments, and her brain kicked in enough to shut the door, lock the door, and then proceed to call all her roommates after the screaming and crying stopped. No excuse. No excuse. It says from the 911 caller, it says the 911 caller was a friend who went to Dee after coming because she was scared to call him, blah, blah, blah. We know that. And it said Xana and Ethan were in her room. So it sounds like they must have been in her room at some point in the night before this happened. She should have been able to determine whether they were fighting or in one of those moods. Obviously, it doesn't state whether she's opened her door several times through the middle of the night in the past. I'm interested in knowing that, because if she's never done that before, why is she doing it that night and not calling 911? DM stated she looked out her bedroom but didn't see anything. When she heard comments saying someone was in the house, DM stated she opened the door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM stated, then says she heard a male's voice saying something like, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Very ominous words. The roommate did not contact authorities for 6 hours despite hearing several of her roommates in distress as well as witnessing the killer. This is unacceptable to me. So don't blame Bullhorn Betty that she has a target on her back. She did it to herself. Who does this? And I'm tired of hearing she was frozen in shock. If she was frozen in shock, she would still be standing at the door. Frozen in shock means just that. Frozen in shock. It doesn't mean I'm frozen in shock but have the brain powers to shut and lock a door. It doesn't mean that she's so frozen in shock that she can pick up a phone and dial all of her roommates to check on them. That doesn't sound to me like she's in shock at those moments. Was she in shock? I'm sure she was. Did that shock subside? I believe it did. Why did she not do more? Why? Dylan stated she opened the door a third time, which we just read, but they're cutting this stuff into this article, making it the point. Again, these are the facts of the case. This is not something I made up. It's not something that I did. Why am I always making it about me? Because everybody on the internet always makes it about me. I did not make these facts up. They are in a statement from a detective that she did these things. Her friend, she seemed to love and care and have a lot of fun with her friends, that she left lying on the floor for 6 hours. Whether she was drunk or high, I don't care. This is unexcusable to me. It's helpful to have a safe space in a coloring book. And you're starting to make me get to the point where I tell you maybe you need to go to your safe space and coloring books, right? The research is available. I'm telling you what shock is. Whether you want to believe what shock is, you want to make up what you feel shock should be, you want to give this girl a free pass, that's all on you, baby. Nobody is telling you to change your mind. What I am telling you is you're wrong. Unless you've experienced shock firsthand, which I've given 2 experiences I've had firsthand. One when I was 14 and my parents were almost killed in a car wreck. Couldn't think. I was just standing on the side of the road and my body was just trembling. I was frozen. I was petrified. I could not move. It felt like I was suffocating even though I was breathing. You don't think to shut a door. You don't think to call 911. You don't think to call a roommate, right? She called roommates. If she could call roommates, she could dial 911. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Period. If you have the brain thought to pull over your phone and call all the roommates in the house, you certainly can dial 911. That's fact. That's fact. Ethan Mother has also urged those affected by the tragedy instead look ahead. As suspects makes his way through the court, Stacy Chapin said nothing has changed since Koberger's arrest, and the mourners should direct their anger elsewhere. It comes after sources told News Nation that Xana fought back against her attacker and repeatedly grabbed the knife used in the attack. Sources claim that her fingers were nearly, you can imagine, I'm not going to say it on here, as she fought back. So Dylan, out of all this stuff, heard nothing. Heard nothing. Just a couple whimpers. Just a couple whimpers and a thud. And a strange man in masked black clothing. She had enough gumption, enough unfrozen moments to pick up the phone and call 4 people on the phone. But she didn't. She was so frozen, she couldn't dial the simplest number of them all, 911. Make it make sense. Unchained, unhinged, or whatever your name is, whatever it is. What is your name? Is it unhinged or unchanged or whatever it is? What do you have to say about that? So traumatized, she can pick up the phone and call 4 roommates. But so traumatized she can't dial 911. I'd like to hear your expectation. Your unhinged. Is it? I don't feel YouTube is a safe place to speak the details of my trauma. Probably not. Probably not. I speak about mine freely because I want people to have experience of the trauma I went through. Because there's a difference in being smart and being wise. Smart is learning from your mistakes. Being wise is learning from others. So I freely share my trauma on here so people know how to act, know how to do, just know that they're not alone. But, at the end of the day, it took me years dealing with the stuff I dealt with. It took me a lot of therapy dealing with the stuff I dealt with. But maybe you shouldn't wag that finger at everybody else that freely talks about their trauma because you refuse to. You're one person among 1,000 people in this chat. And among these 1,000 people in the chat, the majority of these people share their trauma with the other ladies in this chat. So I respect your decision not to, but don't you dare come in here wagging your finger at everybody else that does. And if this channel triggers you in any way, this is not the place for you. But I'm not going to kowtow down. We're going to have our discussions on this channel like we always do. And if you're triggered, that's your problem, not me. Okay? And I mean that in all due respect. But at the end of the day, I don't get triggered by other people's stories. If you do, this is not the place for you. That's your issue, not the rest of us. Okay? So don't be wagging your finger at people and condemning them for talking about their trauma so freely because you refuse to. That's your choice. And again, if you're triggered by it, this is not the place for you. Okay? If you expected something else, maybe I should ask if you're white or black before I give that statement because I'm such a racist. I don't treat everybody the same way. Just had to throw that in there too. Even if I can't speak because of the events that happened or happening, you can still call 911. This is something I know. Easily done. Absolutely. But we know she picked up the phone and called her roommates. So clearly she was unfrozen long enough to do that. Why was she so unfrozen to do that, but too frozen and too petrified to call the people that could actually help her, which are the police? I don't think that they were saying she was in a frozen shock. No. I agree with you, Holly. I agree with you that they're not. The people here on YouTube are trying to say that. Oh, she was in such horrid shock. She was frozen for 8 solid hours. And I kept arguing. No, she wasn't. That's not how shock works. And if shock worked that way, she would still be standing at that door with that door cracked. Once she closed that door, and I've said it from the beginning because I know how shock is, I've experienced it. Once she closed that door and locked that door, that shock has already subsided. Is she nervous? Is she scared? Yes, I'm not disputing that. But the idea that she had PTSD and shock so much she could not move, that is a lie. That is something that somebody has percolated in their own head to explain why Dylan didn't call law enforcement this long. And it was spread across YouTube. And anybody that dare say anything about it got clubbed over the head. Well, I've been saying something about it from out the gate. And again, people in my audience are like, oh, I can't believe you're being so mean to Dylan. I didn't make these facts up. Come on. But the bottom line is, she shut her door, she locked it, and she picked up the phone and called other people in the house, but failed to make the most important call to 911. There is no excuse for that. And if she couldn't get her roommates on the phone and she saw a masked intruder in her house, why didn't she go and check out the house to make sure her friends were safe? If she didn't want to call 911, right? She thought about him enough to pick up the phone and try to call him. But hey, if they're slaughtered, they're not picking up the damn phone. That's what I'm saying. D is an example of what's wrong today. Doesn't matter if you drug or whatever in the house, your besties might be murdered. Call 911. Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. Just Me says, the facts is she didn't call law enforcement while the perp was in the immediate vicinity where the crime took place, is what raises an eyebrow for me, knowing that that's the most important time to call. Yes, absolutely. She gave this man, let's talk about what happened here. Not only is she building reasonable doubt in the jury pool because now there's an 8-hour window or 6-hour window or whatever hour window it is that needs to be closed, that they can say somebody else came into the house. It stops. She gave this man a lead to dispose of evidence and other very important stuff in this case, and her friends were killed. And everybody wants to give her a free. This is not, you're not coming to the Bullhorn Betty channel and getting a free pass here. You're not going to do it. We call a spade here. Something isn't right. We've proclaimed it. I backed away from it because people were hating. I can't believe you're beating up a victim. Look, I don't, at the end of the day, I have to get my big girl panties on and realize these are the facts of the case. And we have to discuss it, whether it hurts people's feelings or not. I'm not in the feelings business. Let me just make that clear. Even to the people I love and respect, I'm not in the feelings business. Okay? I'm in the true crime business. So we talk about true crime. We don't talk about the feelings. I tell you all the time, take your emotions out of it. If you're going to properly look at a case, your emotions have to be long gone. Do we feel for these cases? Do I get emotionally charged with these cases? Of course I do. But when I'm dealing with the evidence and the facts of the cases, I have to remove all emotion from it. It's what makes great investigators great investigators. You have to take your emotions out of it and look at the facts. That's why I always tell you, I always stay an arm's length distance away from people like Don Wells and Candace Wells, right? I would never be their friend. I will never be their buddy. I'm here to tell a story of their daughter. I leave my emotions out of it. The facts of the case don't look good for those parents. That's it. No matter how you flip the coin. If you're looking for a commentator to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, this is definitely not the channel for you. It's just not. I'm sorry. What's wrong with the world today? Preach. Yes, I know. You have to set aside emotions for these case facts. Yep. Facts, people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Flight or fight kicks in your life and when you're in danger. She didn't care for the 4 friends that she, I guess she cut off right there. But I got the gist of what you're saying. Only the only fact is that DM was in the house at the time. No, that's not true, private caller. That is not the only facts. We have an entire affidavit of facts. She was in the house at the time. She heard lots of weird noises coming out of the house that are not common at that time of morning. We've corroborated that by witnesses in the area, by the way, that yes, they did have a party house, but usually by 10 or 11 o'clock, they piped down. So 4 a.m. having noises and having a party at their house at 4 a.m. is very uncommon, whether people like to acknowledge that or not. So no, there was no party there. We're hearing she heard crying and screaming. We definitely know there was a thud. We definitely know that there was stuff that prompted her to open her door 3 separate times. On the 3rd time, her seeing a masked intruder walking out of the house. We are now learning from Ethan's family that she made calls to all of the roommates in that home that evening. None of them answered the phone. She could make calls to them, but she cannot make phone calls to 911 because she's so petrified. If she was petrified, she wouldn't have made the first call at all, let alone to the roommates. Again, coming back to why was law enforcement not called until literally hours? Now they have a door to say somebody else came in and did this crime. Now you've allowed an assailant to leave and dispose of evidence and give them a head start on ridding themselves of their obligation to this crime. I'm sorry, there's no excuse. We can play around about this all we want. You guys can club Bullhorn Betty over the head and say I'm the most despicable person and how dare me victim shame. Nobody gives a shit, because at the end of the day, the facts of the case are still the facts of the case. And she's going to have to explain how she can pick up her phone and call 4 roommates, but she can't pick up the phone and call 911. That's going to be a problem. Karen G says, I cannot comment on DM because I took a dislike for her from the first time I saw the photo. So anything I hear is affected by that. Yeah, well, at least you're honest with yourself. Some people on here are not even that honest with themselves. I respect the honesty. That's all I can say, Karen. I respect the honesty. So that is so private caller, that is now the standard. You don't call 911 when you feel threatened. You only call 911 when you have confirmed death. Really? Do you, and I ask this with all due respect, when you reread this comment, does it make you feel stupid? I'm serious with that. I don't believe she thought or knew that. It doesn't matter. You have a private caller. Please tell me. I want your honest opinion. And if you're not honest with me, I'm going to call you out and block you. If you've seen a masked intruder in your home, would you call 911 or would you go out there and see if anybody's dead? I would like you to answer that question. Because I don't care whether people are dead or alive in my house. I see a masked intruder in my home, I'm calling 911 and grabbing my freaking pistol. And if you're still in my home, by the time my pistol is loaded, your ass is getting a shot in it. You come in my house, I will shoot you, and I will shoot you alive. So I'm curious, and I'm going to wait for your response. If a masked intruder comes into your private caller, if a masked intruder comes into your home, are you going to call the law? Are you going to go search to see if anybody's dead in your house? And if nobody's dead, you're just going to be like, he came in, no big deal. Let me go back to sleep. No, because I live in an apartment building. I hear a lot of noises here. I never call 911. So you're not I can tell you right now, that was not the question I asked. Quit answering the question you want answered. That was an apartment building too. If you really want to look at it that way, all those people were individuals. They all lived in their own rooms. They all had locks on their own doors. They only had common areas. So again, I'm asking you, if you saw a masked intruder in your apartment walking by your door, whether you have roommates or not, are you going to pick up the phone and call 911? Or are you going to go confirm that somebody is dead before you do it? Answer the question I'm asking, not the question you want to answer. You're going to come here and you're going to have these comments, have the balls to answer the questions I ask. I ask tough questions. And I realize you may not want to answer the question, but you want to come here and talk I'm giving you the platform to talk. I'm listening to your opinion. I'm addressing your opinion, and I would like to know your answer. Not this. They were in an apartment. They had a third floor, a second floor, and a third floor. And each individual room was its own apartment. So now we have like situation, a like scenario. Now I'm going to ask you again. If you opened your bedroom door and saw a masked man outside of your bedroom door, are you going to call 911 or are you going to go back to sleep and pray to God nothing happened in your home? I would like your truthful answer. Let's go here and see if I can find him where he's answered. He probably won't want to answer. It's tough on here. You guys got to realize that Bullhorn Betty is tough. We're tough. You're gonna say stuff like unhinged. And I love it. We're not, but you're sticking up for her. You're sticking up for her and being her flapper right here. You don't know what you're saying is even true, but you don't mind theorizing about it. And then you're like, oh, what everybody else does is not relevant. Really? Because common sense is relevant. Common sense is absolutely relevant, Unhinged. It's absolutely relevant. Absolutely. And I saw no more comments from, make sure I'm not missing anything. We see no more comments from our private caller. He doesn't want to answer. No, I would be in my own unit, minding my own business. That's just me. Still answering questions that I'm not answering or not asking. I love it. People that want to sit here and flap, be the advocate for Dylan Mortensen, refuse to answer the questions I have. They want to answer all these questions to make them feel all good, warm and fuzzy, baby. You need that safe space in the coloring book. So go to it. Go. Right? Answer the questions I'm asking. I ask tough questions. I want your truthful. I'm truthful with you. Even if I was high, many of you guys know my background. I used to be out there, right? I would have called law. I would have called the law. Did we see any more comments from private caller, or did he just decide to? Sounds like he didn't want to answer the question. Okay, so the bottom line is private caller would have said if he saw a masked intruder in his house, he would have called 911. But the problem is he doesn't want to say that to us because it just disproves everything he's been sitting in here yapping about for like the last 20 minutes. So I got you, private caller. No worries, I got you. Guys, I know this is short notice, but I just realized it's 8:30. I got to go. I love you. God bless each and every one of you. Until next time, be safe. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, listen, Unhinged. Listen, private caller. If you see something, say something. Because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Y'all, 1,000 people in here. I hope you guys get those likes up. I hope this was a great conversation for you. Clip channels, I hope you get your clips on, and you can thank me for that little paycheck you're getting. Yeah, still nobody listens to you, even though you're throwing my name up there. But enjoy my paycheck. Enjoy my paycheck. We know you need it. You broke asses that won't help a child, but don't mind helping yourself to those shoes. I am glad to hear it. But either way, good day.